Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and this is how to make a game in Unity 5, and welcome to episode 31. So this episode, we're going to be doing a couple of things, because last time I asked you guys to build up a cave in between the tutorials, and I did mine on a live stream not too long ago, and I asked if you guys wanted a door or a treasure chest, and by popular demand, we chose a door. So we'll be putting a door on the entrance to our cave. We'll have a little bit of sound effects as well, and we'll have the gold bar inside the cave. So let's get to it. What we need to do is bring in a door. So in your objects folder, drag and drop this door, which you can get on our website for free. Head over there, head to downloads and assets, and you can get it there. So when it's imported, let's head in there and let's take the two textures and let's create some normal maps. Hold Control, press D. And when that's done, just change the texture type to normal map and click on apply. So next thing we want to do is bring our door into our scene. So drag and drop, and as you can see there are no textures on it and it's fairly small, so let's increase the size and let's increase the rotation so as it fits nicely inside our cave entrance. So about there. Okay, I'm going to have it about there. Next thing, let's texture our object. So pcube1 is door frame, as we can see. So we need to drag and drop door frame on albedo, and same with the normal map. And I'm going to decrease the normal map to 0.5. Let's do the same with pcube2, which is our door itself. Albedo texture and normal map texture. Okay, so the way this is going to work at the moment, this pcube2 is going to be our actual door. And if we rotate, you can see it kind of rotates in the middle, pivots in the middle, and we don't want that. We want it to open, let's say, on the left-hand side. So the easiest way to do that is to create a kind of a hinge that we can use. So if we go to Game Object, 3D Object and Cube, and then drag and drop that cube onto pcube2 and zero out the position, and also zero out the rotation. So we can see it's now parallel with our door. So uncouple that cube so it's a parent object again, and let's decrease the scale on the X and the Z to, let's say, 0.15 and 0.15. Now what we need to do is position this object right at the edge there. So we should be able to see that the cube is kind of half in between the frame and half in between the door itself. So I'm going to right click, rename, and I'm going to call it Cave Hinge. And now what we want to do is drag and drop pcube2 into Cave Hinge. So you do that and it'll ask you to break the prefab. Click continue, and let's right click and rename this one just as Cave, what should we call it, Frame. So we don't really need to deal too much with that now. So what we'll do is maybe put a little bit of a keyhole here, just quite crudely with a cylinder. So I'm going to put the cylinder inside cube 2, zero out the rotation and the position. And I'm going to, let's rotate on the Z by 90 degrees. And I'm going to uncouple it from there for now. And let's get it into position. Let's change Y to 0.1. Let's change X to 0.5 and Z to 0.2. And let's just pull it out a little so as it looks a little bit more like what you would expect a keyhole to be. Let's quickly create a black material. So in materials, create material. Let's call it black matte. And change the albedo to black. And just quickly drag and drop that onto our cylinder, and then move our cylinder onto pcube2. So now we have a complete door. And if we click on our cave hinge and rotate, we can see the rotation works fine. It looks like a door opening, as it should do. Next thing we're going to need to do is create a quick animation to this cave hinge, so as we can open the door. So in fact, we'll need to go to the animation folder, then on the animation tab, let's click on create, and I'm just going to call it hinge anim. Click Save. You can see our animator component has appeared. And what we're going to need to do is let's make sure this cave hinge is as it should be. So for example, on the X rotation, put 1 and then put 0. All that does is ensure that the first frame is exactly how it should be. So let's say after 60 frames, which is 1 second, we want our door to be open, let's say that much. So set it there, click stop, and head back to projects, and let's quickly play our game just to make sure this animation is working. If all is correct, then what should be happening is the door is constantly opening infinitely. Okay, brilliant. I'm quite happy with that. So let's bring in some audio before we go any further. So we want, let's say, a creaky door and an unlocking sound. So let's bring them in. Again, they're free on the website. Head over there. Last thing we need to do before we start writing the script is create a trigger. So let's go to Game Object, 3D Object, Cube, and I'm going to make it parallel with the door again. So I'm going to drag that cube onto P cube 2 on the hinge, 0 out position and rotation, and then uncouple it. Let's increase the size on the Z to about 3, and on the Y by about 5. That looks fine. Let's decrease the scale on the X just to make it a little bit thinner to 0.2, and just drag it in front of the door. Okay, so now we need to write a script. In our scripts folder, let's right click, create, and I'm going to call this something real simple. Let's see, cave door open. And let's open that script up in MonoDevelop. You can use Visual Studio if you so wish. The script will be the exact same. So we're going to need a couple of variables to begin with. So we'll have this, because we'll need the swing, which is going to be the yeah, we'll call it door swing. So var door swing, and that's going to be the hinge, which is the game object. Next, we're going to need the key, which is the picture in our inventory. So var the key. That's also going to be a game object. Next, we're going to need a couple of sounds. So we'll have the key sound, so the turning of the key, the unlocking sound, and the creaking sound. So we'll have var key sound, and that's audio source. And next one is going to be the creaking sound, so creak sound, and that's also audio source. And finally, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to refer to this game object as an actual variable rather than just having this in lowercase. So var, let's have this object as a game object. Okay, so what we're going to do is when we click on it, we want to basically unlock the door. That's how this is going to work. So function on mouse down, open close bracket, open curly bracket. So firstly, what we need to do is disable the box collider on this particular object because we don't want to continually run this script. So this object dot get component and open bracket, and in quotes we need to put box collider. So we're referring to the box collider component that this object is. Dot enabled equals false, semicolon. Next one, we'll need to set the key, which is in our inventory, the picture of it, as inactive. So the key dot set active, and in brackets false, semicolon. Next, we'll play the key sound. So key sound dot play, open close bracket, and semicolon. Next, we need to wait for, well, a second. So yield wait for seconds, 1 second. And next what we'll do is we will have the animator component activate on our hinge on the door swing. So door swing dot get component, and in brackets and quotes animator, so we're referencing that component this time, enabled equals true, semicolon. And now we're going to wait for about 0.99 seconds because our animation itself was 1 second long, so I'm going to wait just shy of that 1 second. So it will be yield wait for seconds 0.99, close bracket, semicolon. And then what we'll do is we'll turn off the animator component on door swing. So you can just copy that door swing.get component blah 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 equals true and just change it to equals false. And then we can now close that function and save. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to add these audio files that we've imported to our player. So if we head to our FPS controller and we have overworld audio there, what we'll do is I'll add an empty game object to there, and I will rename that as creak sound, and we're going to drag and drop that creak sound, so creaky door, onto there, and I'm going to untick play on away. I'll duplicate that, so hold control, press D, F2, and let's call this unlock sound. And you probably guessed it, drag and drop that onto creaky door over there, so it replaces it with the unlock sound. Next thing we need to do is attach the script to this trigger object. So I'm going to right click, rename, and just call this cave trigger. Now let's find the script we wrote, which we called cave door open, didn't we? And let's attach it to there. And you've probably guessed it by now, we just need to sort these variables out. So cave hinge is door swing, and we need to head to our canvas and inventory and slot 2, and I think it's this one, isn't it? Item image. Is that our image of a key? It is. So we just need to add that to our cave trigger as the key. Key sound is obviously going to be the unlock sound. Creak sound is obviously going to be the creak sound. And this object, yeah, you've got it. There we go. So as it stands now, I'm going to take off that mesh renderer, cave hinge, and take off animator, and press play. So let's head over there right now. So we can see our door is closed, and let's open it. Okay, so that sort of worked. Didn't work as I intended because it didn't play the creak sound. So why didn't it play the creak sound? How strange is that? Let's see if it actually works. Okay, so the creak sound's there. That's fine. Just decided not to play. Let's try changing the spatial blend to 3D and see if that makes a difference. Let's take play on awake and just see if it actually does anything. Okay, so it is there. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to change the script a little bit because I want to play the key sound, but I don't. Let's have 0.5 instead of 1 second. And now let's quickly try this again, and hopefully this should. Oops! I've just realised we've left the creak sound as play on awake. So let's try again. Do you know what? I've just realised one thing we've forgotten to do, folks. Yep, I've made a schoolboy error right there. I have forgotten to do creak sound dot play. It usually helps if you put that in a script for the sound to play properly. So let's go and check this out one more time, and our door should open just fine. There we go. So our door's opened. Brilliant. Now, for those of you who've probably already noticed, we didn't actually want this door to open unless we already got the key from the guy over here. So we need to actually take our trigger, cave trigger, and deactivate it, so as we can't open that door as it stands. And what we need to do is need to modify the script which is attached to this guy right here, which is the quest active. So make sure you're on the quest NPC to quest active, the most recent quest one we've done, that is. And here what we need to do is where he says I want you to retrieve some gold bullion, here is the key, he sets the key active. What we need to put here as well is make the cave door active. So var cave door game object, and underneath here cave door dot set active true, and save that script. And then obviously you've probably guessed it, we just need to quickly define that as a variable. So we drag and drop cave trigger onto cave door. So now as it stands, we start the game, we come over here, we speak to this guy, we get his loot, we come back, speak to this guy, and then we can open that cave. So we can't open that cave at any point unless we've spoken to this guy here. So I'm going to quickly give that a go. Head all the way over to my cave. And let's try opening it. Nope, doesn't let me. So I'm going to test this out now for myself. If you guys don't want to see this part of the video, just skip ahead probably 90 seconds or so. So yeah, that part works. I'm going to fetch his loot. Right there. Take it back to him. There we go. So now let's talk to the servant around the back. He's given us the key. So let's go and open the door and watch our key disappear out the inventory. Excellent. So as it stands, everything works in our quest up till now. So the last thing we're going to do here is let's just quickly put this gold bullion in here, ready for the next episode. So back in our objects folder, drag and drop the gold into Unity. And in we go. Let's place our gold bullion there. Is this quite large? It is quite large. So let's shrink it. 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. Let's move it into position. About there, maybe. Gone a bit too far there, I think. Let's change the Y position to 0. Sometimes when you have these sort of models, some of them can be quite large when you import them. That's not so much the problem, but it's a little bit frustrating sometimes. But don't worry too much about it. Okay, there we go. So our gold's in the cave, although it's floating. So let's have it about there. I'm going to rotate it a little. And now I'm quickly going to add the material. Change the colour. Let's obviously have it sort of a goldish looking colour. And looking very metallic and very smooth. Okay. So our gold bar, our gold bullion, whatever you want to call it, is ready for the next episode. So next episode, what we'll do is we'll pick up this, we'll finish up the quest, and then we'll start looking at various other things, because I'm going to start looking at things like spawning enemies and delve into some AI, as well as a bit more on the inventory. So we'll gradually be getting into this now. So yeah, that's all there is to it. The door is pretty simple, and it's fairly quickly and easy to set up once you get used to it. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of fiddling to get things right, but once you've got one door in, it's pretty easy to do the rest. So I'm going to save my project there, and guys, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.